what the mainstream media was too afraid to tell you about the news this week. This week, while the mainstream media obsessed over President Trump's redesign of Air Force One, here are the things that happened that really matter. Pinterest labeled content from pro-life organization Live Action as pornography. Then Pinterest permanently banned Live Action when the investigative journalists at Project Veritas revealed the shadow ban. Then Twitter suspended Project Veritas for posting a screenshot of an internal message board at Pinterest that shows a Pinterest employee calling Ben Shapiro a white supremacist. And then YouTube yanks the Project Veritas video of the Pinterest whistleblower and claims the video violates the privacy of Pinterest employees. And then, of course, Pinterest fired the insider whistleblower. Lest you ever doubt that big tech has it out for conservatives and Christians, this is your proof. But did the mainstream media report this to you? No. The mainstream media barely mentioned it. A new bombshell report reveals critical accuracy problems with the Mueller report. One of the key claims in the Mueller report in Volume 1 was about a man named Konstantin Kilimnik, whom Mueller said was tied to Russian intelligence. The report said Kilimnik was also tied to Trump's former campaign manager, Paul Manafort, and this portrayal of Kilimnik by Mueller was the premise of the claim that Trump's campaign officials were too closely tied to the Russian government. But it turns out John Solomon at The Hill revealed bombshell government documents that show Kilimnik not, in fact, a Russian intelligence actor, but instead a U.S. intelligence source. And the Mueller team knew about this up to a year before they completed their report. But still, they portrayed Kilimnik inaccurately. But did the mainstream media report on this or ask questions about how this information undermines the credibility of Mueller's report? Nope, the mainstream media refused to touch the story. A captured ISIS fighter confirms to a terror watchdog group called the International Center for the Study of Violent Extremism that reports from 5 years ago from Judicial Watch, they reported that radical Islamist terrorists do, in fact, exploit our southern border with Mexico in order to enter our country illegally to case potential terror attack targets, are true. The former ISIS fighter says he himself was on his way to the U.S. through migrant routes before he was captured. But did the mainstream media report on this serious national security threat? No. The mainstream media refuses to even call the crisis at our border a crisis. Oberlin College in Ohio was fined $11 million for falsely accusing a family-owned bakery of being racist after 3 black students were arrested for shoplifting in the bakery. The dean of students at Oberlin jumped on this bandwagon and helped organize a boycott of the bakery, causing the bakery obvious damage based on the false allegations. But did the mainstream media report on this? Barely. The mainstream media prefers to blame white people for racism, but when the racism and the false charges are levied against white people, the mainstream media ignores it. In Venezuela, showers are now considered a luxury, as interim President Juan Guaido says Venezuelans can't count on running water in the nation that used to be the wealthiest nation in South America. But did the mainstream media report to you on this dreadful impact of socialism? Nope. The mainstream media was silent. The mainstream media doesn't care to report any of that to you. So we will. And that is my final point.